What is up, everybody? Welcome back to RacingNews.com and welcome back to another one of our previews. Well, it is Rebel Stakes Day coming up this Saturday, February 22nd at Oaklawn Park. That's what we'll cover in this video today. Holy cow, what a race this is going to be. A race near and dear to my heart. Of course, Oaklawn Park, kind of where the racing dudes got started. You wouldn't see the racing dudes if it wasn't for Oaklawn Park. That's where it all got going. So, field of 14 lines up for this one. I'll throw it up on the screen now. We'll go through them one by one, and we'll try to figure this out together. It's going to be a pretty tough race, I think. But look, it's they've been tough so far. No matter what the race is and what the setup has been, they've been tough, these Derby preps, and I would think this one's going to be as well. Race 11 on the card, Saturday, February 22nd. It is the Grade 2 Rebel Stakes for $1.25 million, the purse, going a mile and a 16th, and you see the field, like I said, 14 horses here for this one. Let's go through them one by one, and we'll give you the pick to win at the end. All right, the number one Coal Battle is where we'll kick things off, and all this horse has done is won 3 straight races. Won a stakes race at Delta Downs, won the Springboard Mile at Remington Park, and then won the Smarty Jones last time out right here at Oaklawn Park. Now, can he keep it up? That's going to be the big question. That race, the Smarty Jones, has not come back very strong. Nobody's really done much out of that race. So it was a good win, no doubt. You can't poke a lot of holes through it. He did exactly what he was supposed to do, but a little bit interesting when you look at what's come back out of it. Now, the good news is, what's come out of the Remington Park Springboard Mile? Well, the Southwest Stakes winner, Speed King, came back to win next out. That's a good feather in the cap of Coal Battle. And Speed King also in this race. We'll talk about him here in a second. So, good horse. Ran a had 3 good races in a row, I should say. So, look, he's in with another huge shot in this one. I think the lack of respect that I gave him last time, kind of going to have to backtrack on it because he kind of proved me wrong with a nice effort. So he's in with a big shot indeed. The number 2 is Admiral Dennis. This horse ships up from Fairgrounds after a win in Allowance Company last time out. 2 races back, he was defeated pretty soundly after he did not break very well at all in the Gun Runner Stakes. Didn't do much running there whatsoever. But other than that, he's been pretty good minus that race. The second place runner of that race at Fairgrounds that he beat in an allowance race didn't come back to do much, but Authentic Gallop did come back to win. He was 3rd that day in that allowance race. He did come back to win. So, it's kind of a mixed bag a little bit. Of course, we're talking about Vamos Carlitos. He did come back. He ran 9th. That horse finished 2nd in that allowance race. He came back to run 9th yesterday in the Risen Star. So was in a pretty tough spot. But, that race didn't look great on paper. It didn't look great visually. I'm not a huge fan of Admiral Dennis in this spot. He's got some proving to do in this one. The number 3 is Sandman, and boy, he couldn't have had a worse trip last time out. Just everything went wrong. Broken a tangle way back behind, and then made a huge run to finish 2nd, only beaten a length, beaten by Speed King. So, good race. I think everybody's super high on him after that. We'll see if he can get a regular trip here in this spot today. Important to note, he needs to break better, obviously, but there's a ton of speed signed on in this race. This horse should close pretty darn well and should have a pretty darn good setup. So I think he's in with a big chance here. I think Sandman's going to be tough. Now, one thing to kind of mention, his other races minus the Southwest, while they weren't bad, they weren't exactly just, mind-blowing, right? So is he all kind of like putting the pieces together here at Oaklawn and getting better? Was that kind of he jumped up and ran a big one and maybe he's going to come back down to kind of his normal? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that. It's going to be interesting. But again, that pace is going to be hot and that should help him. The number 4 is Hypnus. How about Hypnus? He's coming in off of a 16-1 main special weight debut win at the Fairgrounds. He did it impressively. He did it from well off the pace as well. And like I said, same thing with Sandman. You could expect with Hypnus, there's going to be a lot of pace signed on. This horse should be closing pretty strongly down the lane. So I think this is another one that's in with a bit of a shot here 3 out of the first 4 horses, I think, have a big shot to win this race. It'll be interesting to see how this horse does. The horse Cromwell, who was second to him last time out, second to Hypnus, he didn't run all that well in a maiden special weight at Fairgrounds on Risen Star Day. So that's kind of some bad news there. But Brian Hernandez aboard once again. He is the number 1 jockey for McPeak. So another one that's interesting. Let's keep going on horses that are pretty interesting. And the number 5 Matticat Road, I think, fits that bill as well. Again, a horse, a rare Bob Baffert horse that likes to come from out of it. And then Matticat Road should get the pace set up, like I said. He probably won't sit as far back as Sandman and Hypnus. He'll probably sit a bit closer to the pace. I think that'll be good for him. But look, it's going to be interesting, right? His debut race was not great. Second, beaten 4 3/4, but it was against Stakes Company. Bullard, a pretty nice horse at the time, was able to beat him. Came back, broke his maiden pretty nicely. A horse that finished third in San Saba came back to break his maiden. So, pretty good effort there. And the Robert B. Lewis, he just didn't have any pace to run into, got beat by Citizen Bull and Rodriguez. So we'll see. 4th race, 4th different jockey, but at least it is Irad Ortiz Jr. that jumps aboard here. So I don't know. That's something. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with him. He's another one, though. I think you could say he's got a shot in this race. I don't think he's overmatched. If he works out the trip and he gets the pace set up, I think he's in with a big shot. The number 6 is Publishers. We keep on going down the line here, and Publisher gets a jockey change. Flavian Pratt jumps aboard after just lackluster after lackluster race. Maiden special weights, he tried them 4 times. He couldn't get the job done. Then they tried a maiden in the Southwest, and it didn't go well for him. I'm shocked that Flavian Pratt is aboard here. That was very surprising that he jumps aboard Publisher. That's really the only positive that you could say from him. He got his best race ever was when he got second to American Promise, but American Promise really hasn't come back to run all that well. So I don't know. I it's a pass for me, but it is weird that Pratt gets aboard. Maybe that is a sign. And listen, Asmussen, a big race with magnitude, a horse I had in second last week in the Risen Star. But certainly didn't think he'd run that kind of race. Don't take that as bragging, because I thought he would be a distant second in that race, but I thought he could hit the board at least. But maybe Publisher, maybe Flavian Pratt says, hey, we'll jump aboard and try to do the same thing. But still, I don't think that's likely in this spot. The number 7 is Dreamin' in Blue. It's a horse that broke the maiden last time out, going 6 furlongs at Oaklawn Park for Randy Morris, a local trainer here at Oaklawn. 2 races back, was beaten just ahead by Innovator, so pretty good race there. Horse earned the shot. I think going a mile and 16th is questionable for this horse. Street Boss on the top as far as the sire, not sure about that, but out of a Curlin mare, so maybe. But no interest in it in him for me, but I see why they're taking a shot after that really good effort last time out in Maiden Special Weight Company right here at Oaklawn. The number 8 is Innovator. He really doesn't need any introduction. This will be his 9th start. He has just run and run. Finally broke the maiden 2 races back right here at Oaklawn by a head over Dreamin' in Blue, as we talked about just a second ago. Last time out, went up to the LeComte Stakes and ran 3rd, beaten 3/4 of the length by Disco Time and Built. Disco Time has not come back to run. Built did come back to run 3rd in the Risen Star. Not a very good 3rd, in my opinion. He's going to add to the pace. I don't foresee him getting an easy lead in this spot. I think there's a lot of horses that want to run early, so it's going to be pretty fast paced. I don't know. To be fair, I didn't have a lot of interest in him in the LeComte, and he ran 3rd. I don't have any interest in him in here, so maybe he can outrun his odds, but I don't know. I just feel like there's going to be a lot of pace, and I think he's not going to get the greatest setup. The number 9 is Smokin' Wicked, and this is a horse that is a Louisiana bred, but has been running, I should say did run against Open Company early in his career. Finished 3rd in the Saratoga Special, finished 4th in the Hopeful at Saratoga, 4th in the Champagne, although well beaten. Then dropped down to an allowance company at Churchill Downs 3 races back and won by 8. And then a couple of Louisiana bred stakes lately, winning by 2 and winning by 5. The horse is by Bobby's Wicked One of a Street Boss mare. Not exactly the pedigree that says we're going to go long and do well here. I don't blame him for taking a shot. I think now we're getting back up against tougher company and we're going long. I'm not real interested in smoking Wicked here in this spot either. But I think he's earned his way. Those Louisiana bred races were pretty easy for him. So yeah, give him a shot. I don't have any problem with it. The number 10 Bullard is next. I'm pretty interested in Bullard. Listen, this is a horse that on debut looked very good. Came back next time out in the Bob Hope, looked good again. Won by 4 3/4 over Matticat Road, who, like I previously said, was making his first start. So maybe not a fair fight there, but still no fight whatsoever. Bullard gets it done pretty easy. It wasn't good in the San Vicente. I didn't think he ran very well at all in that race. He was beaten 6 lengths by Barnes. Romanesque also finishes ahead of him by a half length, so 2 Baffert horses beat him. However, this horse is a gun runner by, the sire is gun runner out of a Warriors Reward mare. So distance should be what this horse needs. Rispoli comes in to ride for the 4th straight time here. He is the regular rider of Bullard. So, yeah, look, mixed signals from this horse. I think he shows up here with a good shot. I think he's got to be, they've got to be pretty happy. The connection got to be happy that the pace sets up pretty well for him on paper. But yeah, I don't know. How good is this horse? I think that's the big question. Those first 2 races at Del Mar were very good. I just didn't think the San Vicente was very good, though. So we'll see what happens with him. Again, I think that pace is really going to help him. So he's another one that should be sitting back there and be ready basically to make a big run. Let's keep it going with the number 11 Speed King. And this is a horse that was just super good last time out. I'll just put it straightforward to you. Let's go back. Maiden debut at Churchill Downs. This horse won by 2 1/4. I thought was very, very good. Beat a horse named Kalari Dreams, who has not come back to win, but has been close. The next race, the Remington Park Springboard Mile, I was all over Speed King. I loved him in that race. He certainly looked like he was going to make me look good there. He was pulling away in the stretch, and then Cole Battle came and got him. I was super upset with him. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought I overrated him. But Cole Battle comes back to win in his next start in the Smarty Jones, and then Speed King comes back to win his next start in the Southwest, and it makes you kind of go, hey, maybe I was kind of right. Maybe this horse is pretty darn good. That's all the positive. I think the negative, once again, he draws toward the outside. Now, last time out, it didn't get him beat. He was able to get the job done, but from an outside post, he draws outside again. And I just think the pace is just going to be pretty fast for him. He's been up against some pretty fast paces already, though, but he's been able to kick clear. I think he's going to have company here. Innovator in this race is going to be able to go quick. Smoking Wicked is going to be able to go quick. Dreaming in Blue. I mean, there are horses here that like to run pretty fast early. I'm just skeptical that this horse is going to be able to hold on. But boy, anytime I've backed him, it hasn't worked out. And when I don't, that's when he wins. So maybe that could keep going for Moquette. This is a really nice horse. Even if he loses the race on Saturday, I think he's still right there as a Derby prospect. So we'll see. Pace is going to be pretty tough. Finally, as we get down to the last 3 here, Brittenton's Baytown will be the number 11 horse, number 12 horse. And look, just won last time out at Laurel Park in a claiming race. Now we're here. I don't really know why we're here. Horse has 2 wins, broke the maiden at Charlestown, 3 races back, and then a 40K claimer at Laurel Park got the job done. That's I have no idea why he's here. No interest in this horse whatsoever. The number 13 is Tistastic. Stop me if you've heard this one. Steve Asmussen draws the number 13 horse, the number 13 post with a horse that's been okay, but nothing special. Wonder if he'll do what Magnitude did last weekend in the Risen Star and run a 108 buyer and run everybody off their feet. I doubt it. However, Tistastic has been pretty darn good as far as hitting the board in some of these bigger races. He hasn't been, beaten all that badly. You look at the Streets and Stakes 3 races back, he was second, beaten 5 lengths. The Kentucky Jockey Club, he was third, beaten 4 lengths. In the Southwest, he was third, beaten 2.5. So, look, he's been pretty good. He's going to get the pace to run in. I still kind of think this horse is maybe a turf horse. Why? Because he's ran twice on the turf and he won. He's ran 4 times on the dirt and he hasn't. I certainly made kind of the joke of wonder if he'll do what Magnitude did from the 13 last week. Look, no, I don't think so. But, maybe Asmussen's just red hot right now and he could do it. But I think this is more of a board hitter. I don't think this is a real win candidate, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe he could do it again. All right. And then finally, the number 14 is Hot Gunner. And this is another one I don't have a ton of interest in. Coming up from Sam Houston, where he won last time out against Allowance horses by a head. Scott Young brings this horse up. This horse has 2 wins and 8 starts, 1 on debut at Lone Star, a string of losses, and then 1 an Allowance at Sam Houston. Horse isn't for me. I don't know why he's here, but give him a shot, see what he does. Again, not for me, but maybe he could pull the ultimate upset in here. From a speed figure standpoint, the 12 and 14 are just way, way lower than everybody else in this race. Okay, take a breath. That's the field of 14. Man, this is really something, isn't it? A great field. It's a great betting race. I don't know exactly who the favorite will even be in this race, to be completely honest. It could go a lot of different ways. Maybe Sandman, because of the trouble, will be the favorite. Cole Battle, maybe. Speed King, maybe. Bafford's got Matticat Road. Maybe he takes a little bit of money as well. So there's a lot of different ways you can go on this one. And at the end of the day, I kind of debated, and I'm going to go with the number 5, Matticat Road, to win this race. He did not run all that well in the Robert B. Lewis, but he really didn't have any kind of pace to run into. I think with a lot of pace, and I think this kind of the 5 hole, he can kind of sit mid-pack and make the first run and maybe get the jump on a Sandman, for example, or a Hypnus or somebody like that, Bullard even, that may just be a little bit too much or too much further back. And maybe Matticat Road can get the jump. I think it's a completely wide open race. I think he sits a good trip, and I think he's here with a shot. I think it's interesting that Baffert ships this horse in for this one. Irad gets aboard. I don't hate that as well. So I'm going to go the number 5, Matticat Road, to win this year's Rebel Stakes. All right, guys, that'll do it for the preview of the Rebel Stakes live from Oaklawn Park, Saturday, February 22nd. Hit that like button if you liked the video. Hit subscribe if you really like it. Want to get alerted anytime we do videos like this. And most importantly, good luck if you're betting Oaklawn Park on Saturday.